had the privilege of hearing from some of you here in the audience about your business, and that's helped me be such a better manager. Like some of the problems and the challenges that I've had, and I've been kind of like wondering, hey, well, how do I deal with this thing? And if I interview enough people, well, I get my like little let's call it a brain trust, someone like everyone. So we got 3 categories. We got Academy, book building, and local industry. Academy is going to be business 101 stuff, okay, as it pertains to our business. Oh, this is another one. Okay, so that one was the juiciest one, I have to say. It's all downhill for now. Okay, so what is the biggest news story in Virginia regarding state board licensing? No.
The hours by like half.
Yep, they cut the hours. It says from 1,500 to 1,000 hours. We have Kelly Gorsuch, owner of Immortal Beloved and Haehnle Barber. And we have Corey Gray, and he is the co-host of Your Day Out podcast and Hair Industry, and a suite owner.
Myself at the salon, I started thinking about what are the needs of my business, right? What do we need? What has shifted for me in this year? What has shifted for my business? I think one of the things in our industry is that a lot of people are uncomfortable talking about money. We have a very uncomfortable relationship with money. And we need to change that. We need to start really thinking about not just like raising the price of a haircut, but how do we begin to build wealth? I had too much.
Like too many color lines or too many colors?
Just stop. I had like too much. I had to really be careful. I had to really take inventory. Like some salon, maybe you don't do inventory as much as you should, because stuff is like walking away, or you have too much stuff that's been reordered, you don't send it back. Little things like that. I also adjusted my retail. Instead of having like $8,000 sitting on that shelf by the time
I very much believe in the Ivan Zoot, if you know who Ivan Zoot is. And he says we're the only industry in the world that tells people that we have price range. And that hit me, and I'm like, we are. The gas station doesn't consult with me. The grocery store doesn't consult with me. Right? Yeah. So what? And I will tell you that I raise my price, and I do this every year. Every January 1st, there's a price increase. And I don't care if it's 5%, 10%, or 20%. I just think that we need to make it an annual event in our salon. And I will tell you, too, that since my price increase, and I didn't tell anyone, I wasn't sneaky about it. It's just become the expectation of my business. I've had one conversation, that was last week. I've had one conversation about a price increase, and I know that if I put it on my mirror like we used to, or if I put it on if I sent out an email, I know I'd have that conversation 50 times, which is what's scary to me. I don't want to have this conversation 50 times.
And this is going to be somewhat controversial, so relax. If you're 100% booked, then you're doing something wrong. Okay? So you should always leave a gap for new clients to pay your highest price.
Right.
And if you're months, I've talked about this earlier, if you're booked out months or weeks in advance, you should really be thinking about this as you're doing your clients a disservice. Because if they want to see you right now, they don't want to leave.
First thing I signal on is like, you need to champion for you.
Yeah.
You need to do it for you, not based off of what anybody else is doing. If I'm doing a hair service, I'm a hairdresser. I love doing color. Once I saw that people were booking primarily for me with color, that signaled to me like, well, oh shit, you guys actually like what I do. I invested in myself, did classes, and I learned. So I'm raising my prices because I value myself more. If you want to pay it or don't, that's fine. I'm not having a discussion about it. Either you like my prices or you don't. But any type of price increase that I do is because I value my work. You're paying for it because you value it as well. It makes you feel better. You feel better when you look at yourself. Like, that shit, you need to monetize for that. If your client feels better about themselves when they leave.
One of you guys, like, gone from like, okay, I charge $100 to like, I'm gonna just charge $200.
Yes, do it.
Like, fuck it. Like, has anyone done that?
Because you know what? You're still going, you just said what you wanted. You want to have more time to build your business.
Yes,
You want to have more
my
time with
team.
your staff. So you know what? When you go from $100 to $200, that's going to beat out a lot of people,
That's
right?
gonna beat out
You
everybody.
still are going to have people who want to sit in your chair. And you know what? You're going to have new people that are going to see value in what you do, and they are going to be more than willing to pay $200 to sit in your chair.
See, also,
Well, I mean, that's what a career does, right? It's like, you don't get to start at the end, you have to build that process, that demand, that reputation up. That reputation is what sells it for you. You can say whatever you want on your website. In fact, I bet all of your websites sound a lot like mine, right? Like, we're all pretty much doing the same thing. And once you pay for like $50 a haircut, we're almost all on the same level, right? So I'm a firm believer that you're not going to trick them. You can go on and market and advertise in any way, shape, or form you want, say whatever you want. You're not tricking the guest. The only thing of value we provide is a service. If they do not, they're not going to pay you a dime more or less than what that value is to them.
Where we're going with this is what things did we adopt that we kept, and what things did we do as a result, like to keep people safe, that we are, but like that behavior. It's a more of a behavioral question. I just noticed, like, everywhere I go, it's like, tell your client this and tell your client that. And if you read all these policies, that a lot of them were a little extra, and that's what you all said. There's a lot of friction. You do this, then I'll do that. You do this, then I'll do that. And you do this, and then finally, if you're still with me after 6 emails, you're gonna finally end up in my chair. So the question has been brought up, and so now I pose it to you, Ashleigh.
Policies are wrapped around this. So we started allowing online booking only for haircuts. So there's more conversation involved in color, but only for haircuts. The barbershops, this is great. This has taken most of the workload where I used to have 2 receptionists at my barbershops. I now only have to have 1. I used to have 3 receptionists at my salons. I now only have to have 1. So it's taken a huge load off of the desk. But at a certain point, the one piece that I get to crush everybody on was I had more customer service than everybody else. I had more people. Like one of the positions I instituted once was an expediter. So it was a girl who stood in front of a board, and basically that board said, this hairdresser, this cutter is putting this, or this colorist, this is their toner, this is what time they're done.
That there automatically put us into technology and into the races with the others, quote unquote, what's that, Gen Z or whatever. I'm 30 years as a hairstylist. I did penny savers to get, so without COVID, without masks, and I respect what you said because that is very true. We would have had to learn our clients through sending or responding through email, and sending an email is adding a personal touch when it's not automatic. In reference to you, Kelly, or just in general, I just think that as a hairstylist, and quoting Erica Badu, this shit is personal.
I think it's actually holding both of them at the same time. I think it's in a sense of having a look at your business, at your numbers, 100% put the commoditized lens on, take a look at it. But your client should never feel like the service was commoditized, right? That should be where the humanized percent is, right? Like, it's about wearing 2 hats at the same time and kind of finding the balance and riding the waves and kind of finding the movement through it. You shouldn't be 100% humanized. If you were a humanized service, whatever, you'd be doing haircuts for the homeless outside, not charging anybody, and But if you were at commoditized, you'd probably be working the craziest blow dry bar in the whole world, pumping one after another. You got to find like the waves in between where you're running a profitable business that's commoditized, but you're providing a high-end service that's human.
To be the stylist that can charge this X amount of money, and I feel like a lot of stylists that are my age, that are just entering the workforce, don't really recognize that, they don't value that, they just think like, oh, I've worked here for 12 months, I should be able to charge $50 for a haircut. But no, you have to go to classes, and you have to learn, and you have to develop, and you have to...
Hey, can we just give a round of applause to my apprentice who like
So I would
to work to become a stylist that didn't work out. So I've been working as a shampoo assistant for like a year now. I found that throughout my journey that it's been very difficult finding a place that offers the mentorship aspect of things, like teaching the business that school does not teach you, but also having like the time and the skills and the confidence to teach younger people what they wish that they knew, instead of just trying to throw you out there to make money because you're young and you can bring in a younger clientele, and you can, the faster you move, the faster you can start experimenting with other different services that maybe you're not comfortable doing. So I feel like it's kind of like that. Salons that want to take the time, so put more effort towards training their stylists more, in terms of mentorship, whether it's more like working on the skills that you're not comfortable doing, whether it's more on working on the skills that they feel like you're lacking in, or even in something as simple as working on your talking with your like your clients and working on the customer service aspects as well
like
as
consultation
yes,
aspect
the
of it.
consultation aspects of things, and kind of just building a path. You know, not many salons have like a very clear path, in my opinion, of where, like how to do things. Some have like a 2-time track of the faster route or a slower route, but there's no like very definite like category or like very structured.
Kind of like where
yes, like it's like okay, we're gonna get you to work on like 3 pointers in a day, or you're gonna work on this color correction.
Perspective is how did the salon present itself to you when you came in and interviewed? And did you see anyone who had been through the process on the floor when you went in?
Oh, here's the kicker. There were people there who were working longer than I have, who they, I guess, made it seem like they weren't ready to go on the floor, but I guess it had to do with the pandemic of like getting the license and getting like the school and like building a confidence up because of how like pushed back they might have been. But they didn't necessarily enforce the same way they did with me on getting on the floor. Like they didn't treat me as if I was one of the other people who maybe needed more time, needed to work on skills. They felt like because my skills were sharp because I was just fresh out of school.
Apprentice programs, and you will know it, right? My friend Jackie was PR Partners downtown. She has a clear program. They have a strong education program, right? And there's other salons that just, they want an assistant, right? So when you go to a salon, you're also interviewing us. So don't forget that. You are interviewing us as well, as we are interviewing you. So make sure you ask those questions. Make sure you communicate with somebody who has graduated from their apprentice program, who's moved on to be a stylist on the floor. You can ask those questions, and I think it's really important when you start to interview and you look for a salon that you ask very clear, defined questions about you feel like you bring to the table and what you want to see, and also honoring what I have built and what I'm looking for to walk out the door.
Is it training?
Is it training? Is it
A lot
not
of
teaching?
training, and some things I don't waver on. I'm not, no, be very clear. After the training, one, there's a probationary period. At the end of that 60, 90 days, we either figure out like if this is gonna work or not. But after I've done my due diligence in training you, the Taylor in York way, if that doesn't work for either one of us, then I don't want to waste your time, and we're just gonna go. I'm not gonna put more into something that I'm not getting an ROI. We give of ourselves. You have to see the value in yourself.
In DC regarding skateboard licensing.
Thing I signal on is like you need to champion for you.
Yeah.
You need to do it for you, not based off of what anybody else is doing. If I'm doing a hair service,
I never take it lightly when my opinion is asked on anything in relation to the beauty industry. I feel a responsibility to give back what I know, because that's the way that I learn.